Where does Ronwen Williams rank amongst the top South African goalies of all time? At which position do we place him? Right? Is he there yet? Um, and to be honest, I'm gonna say yes. Does he have a spot in the top 10 South African goalkeepers of all time? Of course. Okay, of course, it's a bit too short of a word considering that his career isn't over yet. But he does have room in that. He does hold up space in that conversation. He does have weight behind him, you know, because he has been sensational, phenomenal over the past. You could even say past 7 years. He's really taken it up a level. Right, his game has improved so much over the past couple of years. He's currently the South African captain, the national team captain. Right. To top it off, he recently had one, if not one of the best individual goalie campaigns of AFCON. It was phenomenal. Hasn't He hadn't conceded a goal since the opening game. One, two, he had some of the most brilliant saves in the game against Cape Verde. Like he really has had a really great tournament, and if someone asked me who's my keeper of the tournament, he would have to be him. Like never done before in an international tournament, 4 saves in one game. It's like, oh my god. But then we're shifting away a little bit. We're not focusing on the topic at hand. And the topic at hand is where does he rank? Does he have space in that conversation? And I say yes. Of course he does hold up space, right? He does hold up space. And what space does he take up, you wonder? I'm just gonna read you some of his career stats. I got these numbers from Footy Stats, but then the Footy Stats only started recording PSL stats from 2013, 2014, right? So, and his career started off in 2010. So obviously there's like a 4 year time period of which you don't have those numbers. But from 2013, 14 up until 23, 24, his stats are pretty incredible, right? Listen to this. His highest goals conceded per 90 minutes is 1.26, and they came in the 2014, 2015 season, of which he had kept 10 clean sheets that season. I think the lowest he's kept in his career is like 6, right? He has a career average of 9.9 clean sheets per season, 10 basically. 10, he averages 10 clean sheets per season over his career, over from 2013 to up until 2024, and he's managed to keep 30 an average of 33% of clean. He has managed to keep clean sheets in 33% of the season games over the past 11 years. He averages 33%. His clean sheet average is 33%. That's a ridiculous statistic to have. In sports, I think someone would be like 33% is pretty small. But in sports, anything ranging between 30, 35, 33, 35 to 49 is phenomenal. There's there's hardly ever been an anomaly of over a sustained long period of time of which a person has run about like a 60 to 70% statistic in probably like a win probability or a highest like it doesn't exist, right? A lot of the times the highest your best players have 45 to 55, 45 to ranging between 45 and 55%, you know, stats type of numbers, right? Like for example, if you ask like what's his highest ever mid range jumper percentage, you'll find out that the highest he's ever shot was 44% in a season, and it's like, what 44%? It's like yeah, that's because that's how sports at the highest level works. The numbers are very minimal, marginal, and highly impressive. I'm not gonna lie, right? So going back onto the Ronwen Williams conversation, does he take up space? I think he does take up space. For one, he's the only ever goalkeeper to have saved 4 penalties at an AFCON. I'm not sure at a major tournament, but I'm sure that at an AFCON he's the only ever one to ever do so. I think also at a continental level, at an international level as a whole, there's no goalkeepers ever saved 4 penalties in a penalty save. Um, in one shootout, that is. Right, there was a chance against Cape Verde in extra time, of which a player had a chance in goal, and he had one of the most impressive saves. If he hadn't saved the player came onto his left side, and took the shot, he saved it, it deflected off of the crossbar and went out. That's impressive. Now that's impressive. Not only does it show his ability to command his own box, but his ability to read a situation and react quick. But overall, man, I think he has a seat. I think his numbers at Super Sport warranted for him to be considered one of the better goalkeepers in the league, of which he was given those flowers. I think his time at Mamelodi Sundowns has only elevated him and taken him to another level. Now he's playing for, if not the best team, one of the better teams of all time. One stat I'm saving as the last one is this: the most ever clean sheets kept in a PSL season or in a DSTV Premiership season is 17. It is kept by Munib Josephs, former Orlando Patterson Bidvest goalkeeper. Ronwen Williams broke that record. Ronwen Williams has kept 18 now, and that happened last season. And so far this season, he has 9 clean sheets, only considered in 2 games. Sundowns have only played 11 games in the league. And they have an opportunity. They have 2 or 3 games in hand. I think they played 13 games now. Yes, they played 13 games this season. He already has 11 clean sheets. They have 3 games in hand. And statistically, if you look at it, he's on course to break his own record. If he keeps another 9 clean sheets in the second half of the season, he matches his own record. And I think he genuinely might go for 20 this season. I think it's probably one of his personal goals as well. But overall, if you're not considering him in the chat as one of the greatest to ever do it in South Africa, I think you're being unfair. Unreasonably unfair, that is. Like, that statement doesn't even make any sense, but there's no reason to not consider him. His accolades speak for himself before he even got to Sundowns. But then the thing about what makes a quality goalkeeper is that, do you get to a better place and elevate your game even more? And he did. Even Dennis Onyango didn't have that record. Someone who was such a staple at Mamelodi Sundowns for such a lengthy period of time. Even Dumoulin Kune doesn't have that record. I think the highest Kune is kept in the season was 17, and that season he was matched by Munib Josephs. Or was it 16 and then he was matched by Munib Josephs? One of the two numbers. Like, guys, come on. Let's give guys their flowers. Sure, we may not regard him as the greatest of all time, because I think Mayiwa and Kune and Munib Josephs are like in a whole different realm of their own. But if you look at it from an overall career, he's out on one of the most impressive ones. 2, he's really showcased his quality at different moments multiple times, either on a continental front or on a domestic front. So we ought to respect that and take pride in that. And if you're wondering what's that noise, it's my younger brother. He's in the room with me. He was crying, so I had to take him with me. But that's my 2 cents. The demigod has spoken, and we'll see how you feel about the whole thing.